We are live. Hey, y'all.
Ooh, I gotta get my back straight.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, we back, y'all. I know y'all missed us last week.
Yes.
But last week was a holiday, so we took.
Somebody took a holiday.
Yeah, how people was chilling.
I was at home, y'all. I ain't do nothing. But we is so glad to be back, y'all.
Yes.
For episode 6, y'all.
Yeah.
And if y'all missed our recap from last week, go back in there. That's all our episodes from 1 through 5. So we, pieced them together so you kind of get a breakdown a little bit of what this lunch break is about.
Right. Yeah, and what we talk about. So you can always replay, rewind, forward it, pause it, go get something to eat, come back.
Have
stuff.
A drink. You know what I'm saying? Just whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
So, yes.
So if you missed it, you can always watch it on either one of our social media platforms, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, or Instagram. It'll be posted on all 3 of those sites.
Yeah.
So make sure you click the link in our bio, and it'll take you straight to where you want to go. You want to go to YouTube. You want to go to Instagram. Mm-hmm. We do got to add our Facebook link on there, so we will do that. But it'll take you to where you want to go to watch the recap.
Yes. So hopefully everyone had a great Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Spending it with family, friends, or just whatever you want to do. You know,
having a drink or chilling, or maybe you went out to eat. Maybe you didn't feel like cooking.
Right.
And you went out and grabbed you a plate, or even went to a family house and grabbed you a plate or something. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So I hope y'all enjoyed y'all Thanksgiving. This is a new day, a new week.
Yeah.
But tomorrow is Friday.
Tomorrow is Friday.
We normally go live on Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
But we switched it up. I got my hair done.
Right.
Got my hair done.
Hey.
Hey, the relator.
Yes. Hey, Sydney.
Yes.
Thanks so much for joining our live. We really appreciate you. Shout out to him. He's a positive brother out here doing great things.
Right. Yeah.
Shout out to the relator.
Yes.
Yes, so we are going to talk about the different news stories that we feel that you should know what's going on.
Yes.
I
like that.
Yes. So the first thing that I want to talk about is this new strand of the coronavirus.
Right.
It's called...
I'm so tired of this stuff.
I'm tired, y'all. First of all, I never thought in my lifetime that we would be in a pandemic.
Yeah.
We've been wearing these masks now for going on 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Yep.
2 years.
Yep.
So this new strand is called Omicron. And they're saying that it originated in South Africa. The first case has been identified in the U.S. here in California. But this also has been spread in other countries as well. Hong Kong and a few other places. So there are a lot of travel bans going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Dr. Fauci, everybody should know who he is.
Right.
Okay. He said that this individual traveled from South Africa on November 22nd. And that was before travel restrictions were put in place. He tested positive for this strand of COVID-19 on November 29th. He said that individual is self-quarantining and all the close contacts that he has been in contact with or they have been in contact with test negative. This person was fully vaccinated.
What?
Yes, and they're experiencing mild symptoms. Now, this is the part right here that's just really gets to me. So there's 2 different people in regards to the Moderna vaccine.
Okay.
The first person is Dr. Stefan Bancel. He stated that he didn't know if this vaccine was really going to be able to handle this particular strand. I like that because he was being very honest,
right? That's what I was gonna say.
And transparent about it. He doesn't know, because this is study mutating. You know what I'm saying? They're saying that this is, of course, stronger than the Delta, and that's just really was something. And he said that he basically needed to wait for more data to come up to see if the vaccine would be able to withstand this strand. So then the president of Moderna comes on there, and he stated that he has hope that the Moderna vaccine will take care of this strand. I feel like you're saying that, and these are just my personal opinions, like you're saying that so more people will come and get your vaccine. But when people say they're hopeful, that means you really don't know.
Right.
The other gentleman, he was stating that he doesn't know. There has to be more data that's going to come out.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. It's not enough data. So right. It's like you don't know what you don't know. If it's something new that you've experienced or came across, you don't know what's gonna happen. You don't know what to expect. You just have to kind of wait and see what's gonna happen.
And that's my whole thing, is just be honest with the people and tell them, like, you know what, we don't know, but we still encourage you to get vaccinated and get your boosters.
Yeah.
And hopefully this stuff will stop. But I mean, if everybody, and I mean, these are just my own personal opinions, but I just feel like if everybody doesn't really get vaccinated, this is going to continue on.
Yeah. I mean, but I think the concern people have is that they're getting vaccinated, but people are still getting it. And then if it's mutating into different strands, how effective is that vaccine? If this is a whole new strand that was produced before these other strands mutated, is the vaccine even effective at this point?
Right.
I don't know.
Exactly. Yeah. We had a few more people join on here. We got Lisa, and then we have
Mina, and we got Marion. Designs by Marion.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence of just a little bit about everything, because I mean, even with the booster, speaking personally just for myself, I don't know if I'm gonna get that. This is
it's because it keeps jumping from person to person.
Yeah,
that's probably what's causing the mutation. And then people go out of the country and then they come back. So when you go out of the country, you're exposing yourself to other things that aren't in the in the United States.
Exactly.
So you're bringing that stuff back. And I mean, I'm not a scientist or I don't know all the details, molecular or cell. I don't know that stuff.
Right.
But it just keeps mutating. I mean, it said your hair is cute, Sheeda. I love those earrings, Nikki.
Thank you, man.
I know. I cut my hair yesterday.
She cute, y'all.
Yes.
She cute.
Shout out to Crystal. I cut my hair.
Lisa wanna be in the lab.
Okay.
Okay, let's see what Lisa gotta say. Okay. Okay, Lisa. Okay. There you go.
Hey. Goodness, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
But yeah, look, I had to speak on that. Nikki knows how passionate I am just about all of this. And, I've sat down and I've been really keeping an eye on it. And like, I have some opinions about people, like has the right to keep this thing going. Like, I understand, we don't know a lot about what's going on, but I took my son last week to go get his, I thought I was just getting the HPV vaccine, but he needed his meningitis vaccine also, and he got a flu shot. So speaking in those veins, have y'all met anybody that has like tuberculosis or meningitis? Like, do you hear that running rampant? Exactly, because we take vaccines. That's why you don't hear it. But then we got all these people who say, well, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to take this. We don't know. I mean, truly, nobody knows anything about anything. But if you have a chance to save your life, we've seen millions of people die and millions of families being affected by something that we see that's going on. But we're going to twiddle our thumbs and say, well, I'm not going to do it because, one, somebody's making me do it. But if the government wasn't even being a part of it, the first thing we would say, well, the government not doing nothing. But the government is trying to do something. And, most people, I do understand being leery. But it's too many people dying, too many people putting other people at risk. Like I have my booster. And the reason that I have my booster is because I do have underlying medical conditions. And, I don't want to die because I didn't take a shot. Like, my life is worth more than this shot. And they could say 5 years down the road, this could happen. But I could catch COVID in 5 minutes and be gone in 2 weeks. I'd rather have 5 years than 2 weeks.
Right. That's true.
Like, it's really sad because, like you say, like with all these variants, this virus jumps from body to body to body to body to body. It can't live without a host. So our DNA changes the virus as it goes, as it jumps to this person, jumps to that person, and we have the mutations. If we had more people vaccinated, it wouldn't be to this point. But because people don't want to get vaccinated, people don't want to wear a mask, people don't want to do anything but be. But this virus isn't letting us be. So I just honestly, I don't understand because if you're on your deathbed and somebody told you you can take this magic bean, what you gonna do? You're gonna take that magic bean.
You'll take it.
This is all I got. So why get to that point? Like, free will is one thing, but free will typically leads us down a path that we either gonna thrive or we gonna die. And I want to thrive. So
I agree.
That's my 2 cents.
Yeah. Now I want to ask your opinion. Now I'm very transparent and I'm very open about knowledge that I know and what I don't know. So far as when it comes to vaccines and boosters and things, I don't know anything about that because I don't have any kids. So I've never had to take any children to go get vaccines and boosters, right? But from my understanding, I've heard when people say I have to go take my kids and go get their booster shots, right? Don't you, after you initially get these kids with their vaccines, you don't go and get a booster shot in the same year, do you? When it comes to kids, right?
Typically, no. Typically, no.
Right. But that's what I'm kind of on the fence about because I feel like, dang, I just got injected with the vaccine because I've had my vaccine and here I am months later, y'all want to inject me again with something, and I'm like, y'all don't do that with kids, so why y'all want to keep injecting me? I understand the initial vaccine.
Right. Well, I think those vaccines that the children have, those vaccines have been around for years, so they've had time to perfect it, change it, and give the kids the right doses. So those vaccines have been around for hundreds of years. This vaccine is new. So they're still tweaking it, changing it, you know, it's mutating, you know what I'm saying? So I think that's the difference.
It's like a
Is
flu
that,
shot. You get a flu shot every year. If that's what you do. Like you get one every year because it typically lasts. But even with a flu shot, you can still catch the flu, but you don't catch it as bad. Because do you remember when Jaron had the flu and he couldn't walk?
Sort of.
So, yeah, like the flu had got like it didn't like he didn't throw it up, he didn't poop it out, you know, like so it got trapped like in kind of like in his calf muscle. So he woke up in the middle of the night and he couldn't walk. And you know, I had never thought about getting a flu shot because you know you think, oh, that's for older people. But after that, like he gave me the flu. So once he got out the hospital, the next, really, honestly, that same day, I took my temp and I had a fever of like whatever. But I kept pushing. But when I tell you the way that flu broke me down, I had an ear infection. Then I took some medicine the doctor gave me, which led to an allergic reaction. I broke out in hives, and then I had to go and take more medicine. So it was just like such a long thing, which possibly could have been prevented if I had taken the flu shot. It wouldn't have developed to that point. And that's all this vaccine does is it's trying to, at least from what they say, because I am not a scientist, I just happen to watch a lot of them and listen to a lot of them. And like every day, this thing is changing. Like, you know how at first they say, oh, you don't have to wear a mask. They did some research and realized, oh, a mask will help. Then they did some more research and realized like it wasn't really surfaces. Like COVID won't live on a surface like we thought it would live. But you know, it's the constant research. And then you got other people researching. And we're so far behind the game because Big Fat Orange decided that, like a weak parent, he didn't want to make the kids mad. So he wasn't going to do what needed to be done. He wouldn't put his foot down because he didn't want to lose voters. And now that it's been put into the current president's plate, you know, everybody's a naysayer. And it's easy to talk about what you're not going to do and what you shouldn't do. And you tell people that, but then you go and on the background, you got a vaccine. So how you going to tell somebody not to get vaccinated when you got a vaccine? How you going to tell somebody to not wear a mask because you want to keep their votes, but you would rather let them die than actually hear the real freaking truth? But that's a whole nother conversation.
Right, but
that's true. I mean, I get what you're saying. I mean, I just think back in the day when the swine flu was out and we had the option. I worked at the hospital, so every day I was in a large room full of patients. I never got the swine flu vaccine, but I wasn't scared for my life. Now this is something like it really makes me weary.
Yeah.
We had a real president at that time because
he
other people were saying like, oh, this is gonna happen, that's gonna happen. He didn't do any of that. We got the joke in, but this thing is so serious that like you can't play. Like we never got a handle of it. So because we never got a handle of it, like you know, my boss is in Australia and they're not as big as us, of course, but they have 90% of their population over the age of 12 vaccinated.
Wow.
So like when they go on lockdown, they go on lockdown. Like one of the guys that I talk to that I meet with once a week, like he said he hadn't really driven 5 miles past his house.
Wow.
But when they go out in public places, they don't have to wear masks. The only place they really have to wear a mask is the grocery store because they got it, you know, they had it under control, but they started letting people back because, you know, they had people who like came from India when India had that big outbreak. And they were, I guess they would make you stay at a hotel and one of the, they don't call them bus drivers, they call them something else. but I want to say they call them movers because we were thinking something different. But whoever it was, we're gonna say the bus driver. He got it, and then he brought it back into the community because they were like pretty much done, just like New Zealand. They were done, but then you know you start letting people back, so it's such a, it's like catching the chicken pox the way they equate it to. Like, have y'all had the chicken pox?
Yeah.
I got mine. I know, Nikki, you got yours kind of older, so you know who you got it from.
I was little. I remember that.
I don't know who I got it from. Sheeda, do you know who you got yours from?
My sisters. Because I remember getting the chicken pox. I remember one of my sisters, somebody in the house had it, and then before I knew it, I had it. So it was somebody. It was one of my sisters. So we all was up. After one person got better, it was my turn to stay home. Stay home because now I done got sick.
Like I gave it to everybody, but I didn't know who I got it from.
Yeah.
And COVID is the same thing. The way the Delta variant was. So just from what I'm looking at, the person honestly who got the new variant, I want to say they were in California. They were actually fully vaccinated.
Yeah, that's what I said.
So
Yep. Someone said
I was little with the chicken pox, but you don't see it now due to vaccines.
Yeah, right. That's true. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. We'll
so let's see.
Yeah, we got one other request.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Lisa.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
I don't know how to get off.
Yeah. Do we just click in there?
No. Go.
Up there. Okay.
Remove.
Okay. And then we have.
Right. Oh, maybe she. Wait. Go back. Go to that.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember being little. I know Amina probably remember too. But I can't remember who it was. Somebody had, and I remember eating popsicles. I was like, this is the life right here.
Right. Oh, Lord.
I remember that.
You must have not been sick.
I was sick.
But
yeah.
Is Miriam still on here?
Oh, I don't know now. Let's click it.
Yeah.
But
okay.
I don't remember who we got it from. Right. I just remember getting it.
Oh, okay. It says she.
Oh.
Okay, Miriam kicked her out. Okay, we're going to send you the invite again. So, yeah, we sent you the invite, Miriam. Go live. Okay, Miriam, you see it? The invite?
Oh,
okay.
Hey,
Miriam, how you doing?
Hey.
I'm good.
Good.
But speaking on the all the vaccines and stuff, what I don't understand is some people will be fearful to get the vaccine, but also it's a lot of these same people that don't want the vaccine, but they also want to hang out with people. They also want to not wear a mask and this, that, and the other. And it's like I have an understanding of people being leery of taking the vaccine, but even with being leery, you still have to do what you have to do in order not to spread whatever germs that you have. That means washing your hands. That means putting on your mask. That means not being around folks if you are sick. But a lot of these folks do not do that. Right. So it's jumping from person to person very, very fast. It's jumping too quick. People still want to hang out with family members, and they want to go clubbing. They want to, they just want to do whatever and not take anybody else in regards to that.
Yeah.
So that's the sad part of it. It's like if you know you're sick, stay at home. Like vaccine or not, you know you're sick, stay at home. That was like one of my biggest problems, like when it come down to like the kids when they were, especially when they were really young and was going to to daycare and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
If you got a kid that morning you finna drop them off and they snot nose running, they got a fever, I'm finna give them some Tylenol real quick to drop that fever so I can drop them off to daycare because I got stuff to do. But now here it is, the whole classroom is now sick from this one child.
Yeah.
Every time somebody showed up to daycare with the stomach flu, whatever, all the kids got sick. So now you're stuck at home with your kids that's sick. Now you're gonna be sick because you're taking care of your children. And when kids that small, they don't know wash my hands. They don't know I don't need to run my hand across my face and go pick up a toy. So now you got adults that are actually doing the same thing.
Yeah.
That day.
I've seen grown people use the bathroom, walk straight out the door. Like, no, wash your hands.
Okay. Like, you got to tell the adults to wash their hands. Like, you got to tell the grown people, wash your hands, cover your cough. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's too much. It is definitely too much. And so, look, we stay in a bubble over here.
Right.
We stay in a direct bubble. People don't come over. We don't have company and stuff like that. We have to stay in a bubble.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's sad.
Yeah, I definitely agree with like the daycare stuff too, because my daughter's in daycare, and I actually since COVID has happened, they've been doing the COVID restrictions, so everybody wears a mask. They take the temperatures. There are smaller classrooms, and I kind of think that's a benefit. Like, if they have a fever, they have to stay home. Like, before COVID, it wasn't really like that. Like you said, Marion, like, if they had a runny nose or something, because runny nose, that's a symptom of that you could have COVID or be sick. So now it's like, if you have a runny nose and stuff, they want you to stay home. But before, kids would come in with snotty nose and touching this and touching that.
Really?
But see, like the daycare my kids went to when they were younger, that daycare, if they noticed that the kid was sick, they would call for the parents to come back and pick up this child. But by this point, I'm waiting on you to come back and come get your kid. They done already been here for how long when you knew before dropping them off that they were sick?
Right. I don't like parents like that.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Because I'm the type of parent, if I know my child is sick, I'm going to stay home.
Yeah, you should want to. Like,
but it's a lot of parents that's out here that can't afford to let me take a day off from work because I need to take care of my child.
Yeah.
You know, and the way our system is set up, like the whole thing as far as how work is, you can compare us to other countries that have parents that can have sick days. You can get this much off days and whatnot. We don't have that here. The cost of living here is so high to where you got parents that say, oh, well, my child is sick. I still got to go to work. I can't afford to take off.
Yeah.
So then that parent is going to work, getting called later by the daycare to come get their sick kid. What do the parents do? Oh, I'll be there in a few. And then it takes them hours to go back to the daycare and pick them up.
They come at the end of that shift. They come at the end
they
of
don't
the
wait
shift.
and I'll pick them up later. So they ain't, they ain't have a choice. So now we got a sick kid just sitting here, can't even play with the other kids or whatnot. They sitting at the front desk waiting on their parents to come get them because they sick. They should have stayed at home.
Right. It's like a cycle. Like, how do we get to a resolution with that? Because a lot of jobs, like you said, they don't have sick days, or like some other companies, they have like sick days where, like, if you have to take care of a loved one or an elder, like there's days that you can take off for that.
Yeah.
And even like the men, now some places the men have where they can have days off if the woman is pregnant. I forget what it's called.
Yeah, they like you had a like they call it paternity leave.
Yeah, like for the men.
It's maternity leave for the women, and you have companies that actually give the guys paternity leave. Yeah, if you look at other countries, that's an automatic. It's not even a choice. It's not even a thought that, hey, the dude needs to be at home too.
Right.
It's not even a choice, and then it just depends on where you work. Like, like I remember one of my bosses, his wife, her job was so bad, she had paternity leave. She had like a month off from work because they got a new dog. So it's companies, it's companies that got bomb leave and stuff, but you have to work for that company. And a lot of businesses don't have that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's like part of the problem is that we don't have those opportunities to take off work. Like our jobs don't give us those incentives.
Right.
Nope. I've had a job before in the past to where I end up getting let go from this job because my child was sick. And so you missing too many days. You're missing too many days, this, that, and the other. And then when I went to apply for unemployment after they let me go, they stated that I got let go for something totally different. I had to take them to court, like through unemployment, to get my unemployment and show them proof. This is why I was not at work these particular days. And by law, a job can't let you go for taking care of your sick kid. But here it is. I was still without a job after that, you know?
Right.
Wow, that's terrible. Like, where's the compassion?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, like how I said, I don't have any kids, but just speaking of how I was brought up, like, my parents was there for me. They never shipped me off or anything like that. If I was sick, they was there to take care of me as well as my niece. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't know it any other way. I couldn't imagine just being shipped off to school or even daycare and I'm sick. Like, how can you as a parent, I don't know, like how can you send your child to school? Like, I feel like I would be worried to death, like,
while you at work.
Yeah, like how's my baby doing? You know what I'm saying? I need to be there for my baby. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think sometimes it just leaves you in this like a space where it's like you have to make a choice. Like, if I don't go to work, then how can I pay for the mortgage or the bills? You know what I'm saying? Or do I just my check gonna be shorter, but then I gotta take care of my child.
The dynamic of the one parent household. Because if you have two parents and you have that village and that support, then hey, I might not have. We can flip
up on us, Miriam.
You can flip flop and see who can stay at home with the kid, and there's a lot of single moms out here that don't have that option.
Right. Yeah, that's true. That's so true.
Like Lisa said, it's hard to make that choice. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. It's crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. She said we need real representation in the government, not pigeons who work for corporate donors. People don't care about animals than human life. Yeah.
Yeah. Because a lot of these countries, other countries, they're getting a stimulus check. For what's going on. I know that the United States is one of the richest companies, and we're not getting a stimulus check.
You wouldn't know.
Yeah, because they out lending it to other countries. They're giving it to us.
Right. What is they spending their money on? Because it ain't where it's the
bailout. It's the bail out the banks in corporate America.
Right.
You're right. Because a lot of these companies was getting those bails out, and they didn't even really qualify for that, you know what I'm saying? And they were still getting the money. Like, I think, who did they say? Reese Witherspoon? You know, she's a multi-millionaire. She got something for her company. And then I think when they aired her out or something, I think then she gave it back or something like that. Like, come on now.
Been going on since forever over here. Like, that's the way the system is designed. We'll put some kind of program out there. A lot of folks that's qualified for it don't even know the program is there. And then the people who really don't need it get all the money. It's a continuous cycle.
It is. It's a bad cycle.
Yeah, it definitely something needs to be done, but who knows when that's going to be. So
yeah.
Like, who do you talk to? I don't know.
I have no idea.
The politicians, what?
It's crazy. Yeah, it'll probably be a long time for something. Yeah. We'll probably be 100 years old for something.
Yeah, hopefully not.
Yeah.
I pray for
You
change.
know what? I watched this segment. I think I was on NBC. The news had just went off, and some show came on. They were talking about reparations, and they were talking about how everybody has gotten reparations for the stuff that they're gone through, except for
All
the
the black
descendants of
people.
slaves, all the black folks.
Right.
And the guy had, I guess he had wrote a book about it and whatnot, and he calculated that the government, if they gave us reparation, it would be like 150,000 per person, because that's the wage gap that we have between the whites and the blacks, as far as like systematic racism and all the stuff that's going on, to how much of an advantage a white family has over a black family to try to divide the gap. That's how much the reparations would be. And he totaled up how many trillions of dollars it would be. And then he made it a point to make it a note to say, hey, there's a couple of $1 trillion less than what they gave to the banks.
Wow.
It's crazy. It's like, even with the reparations, it's like there's loopholes in that. You know what I'm saying? Because we are, like you said, we're the only culture that hasn't received any reparations.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Like the Indians, Native Americans.
Yeah, they got some of their stuff back, but even like when you think about, I read, I think this was last year or maybe this year, about how they took property from this black resort. They were like a flourishing black beach town or something. They had a resort, and the white people came and just took their land. And now they're just now getting the land back, the family. But these people been dead and gone for probably over 100 years, and it's crazy. So
it's like black people, we always the last on the list.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
we can't be there no more.
Mina said they doing the Native Americans bogus. So yeah, they are. Everybody. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for your input.
Yes, we appreciate it.
Yes.
Thanks for being on.
Yes.
I'm trying to catch y'all when I'm free.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
All
right. See you later.
See ya.
Ooh, that topic was very it went from the coronavirus into just something else, y'all. Ooh.
Right.
But it's a conversation that needs to be really had.
Yeah. And I'm glad everyone, the people that wanted to come on and share their opinion was able to do so.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Mina said she saw that story too. Yeah, that's terrible how they just took these people's land like that. Like they were flourishing black beach town. They had their own like waterfront properties, and they just came and took their property. Just terrible.
But it's the history of that. All of the massacres that's happened. Not just the one in Oklahoma. It's been massacres.
Yeah.
All over the United States where there's been a flourishing, black community, and then they come in and kill our, our mothers, our children.
Yeah.
Burn down the houses, homes, businesses, like flourishing, rich, wealthy black people,
You know what? And that's crazy because I just had a conversation about this with my mother this week. I forgot the name of the town in Mississippi, but my mother went to school there as a child. She didn't even know this massacre had happened in this Mississippi town. She said, I went to school there. I said, you didn't even hear about this? And she said, no, I didn't hear about this. And I think this happened in 1908. I forgot what it was, but it was like some type of racial war or something like that. I don't know.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
It said right shooter, that's how they made their wealth.
Yeah, Yazoo City. No, it wasn't in Yazoo. It was right next to Yazoo. She went to school there as a child, Lisa. It was right there. Was it Balzoni? I don't know. I forget. Rosewood. Girl, no, ain't Rosewood in Florida. That was that movie. That was in Florida.
You probably got to look that up, child.
Yeah, I'm going to have to look it up. Yeah.
Okay, are we going to do another topic?
Yes, honey.
It's been
yes.
like 45 minutes. On
yes. Man.
Okay, so my next topic was Lee Elder. He was the first black golfer to play Masters, and he had passed away last week at the age of 86. Lee Elders, he actually broke down a lot of racial barriers as the first black golfer to play the Masters and paved the way for Tiger Woods. And he died at the age of 86. So I was reading a little bit about his story. So how he started was he actually started caddying for other white golfers, because back in the day, like back in the early 60s, black people weren't allowed to golf on like certain golfing, golfing tournaments.
Yeah.
They weren't allowed at the time. So he was only able to be like the caddy, but he ended up learning how to golf, and he ended up being in one of the tournaments. I don't know how the golfing, because I'm not that familiar with golfing, but I know it's like different levels or different tournaments. And he actually won a tournament, and one of the places where he used to caddy at, they had invited him to that golfing tournament, and he ended up winning that golfing tournament. But I just think it's just so ironic how, they weren't even allowed to golf or be in these tournaments, and for him to turn around and be a legendary, iconic black golfer in that time period. I feel like that was very, iconic, very legendary for him. And I don't know, when I was growing up, all I heard was Tiger Woods. Like, I didn't know it was anybody before Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods' picture was always up there, with Mahalia Jackson and all, but Lee Elder, he paved the way for Tiger Woods.
Yeah.
So Lee Elder's golf, it was 20 years before Tiger Woods came along.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's the thing. Like, before we do our lives, me and Rashida, we always go over what topics that we're going to talk about, just to make sure we're not running into each other. And that's one thing I asked her this morning before the live. I said, well, who is that? I didn't even know who that was.
Right.
Yeah.
She said Tiger didn't even claim us.
Tiger don't claim us. No, he ain't thinking
He was kind of like, well, I'm half this and half that and 20% this. Like, nigga,
yeah.
You look black to me.
Okay. But that's the thing. Like, why was this man never talked about?
Yeah, I didn't hear about him. And then when I saw that story, I'm like, okay, well, maybe we should talk about it, because, especially this generation, kids, they just know Tiger Woods.
Right, yeah.
But Lee Daniels, he definitely broke down racial, barriers for sure.
Definitely.
In the early 60s, when, black people, they wasn't accepted. They didn't even want them playing in the tournaments at all. And for him to start off as a caddy.
Right.
And now to be recognized as the first black golfer,
Yeah, he really made his way up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I mean, I'm not no big Tiger Woods fan, but I've never heard Tiger Woods even mention this man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm not a big golfer.
Yeah.
I don't really watch golf. Like that.
Me neither.
If he did mention him, I
missed that too. Yeah. Yes.
But rest in peace to Lee Elders, okay?
Yeah.
May his soul rest in peace.
Yeah. So my next topic is the family of 9-year-old Ezra Blunt, and he was the youngest victim that passed away from the Astro World tragedy with Travis Scott, his family declined funeral expenses. Yeah, he was 9 years old. It stated that the family's lawyer stated that no doubt that he feels some remorse, which is in regards to Travis, and his journey here will be painful, and that he bears some responsibility for this tragedy. And they had the funeral for Azra on November the 3rd. Mm-hmm. I'm kind of torn about this. Because I really don't think that Travis Scott wanted anything like this to happen to anybody.
Yeah.
But at the same time, when you're encouraging your fans to run past security, or you don't have these security places in measure, then you do take some responsibility for that. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I kind of see it both ways. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure that he didn't want this little boy to die. You know what I'm saying? Or any of the people that was there. Now, okay, we had paused for a minute. But he wanted people to come out and enjoy themselves, you know, and I'm just like, dang, like you're kind of torn, but he's got a lot of lawsuits that's going to be against him.
Yeah, I feel bad.
Yeah.
That this happened. You know, for anybody. Like, I don't listen to his music that much, but just this happening is like, it's bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So. It's a tough situation because, I don't know, maybe the family, they might have wanted to accept those funds, but if you're in the middle of suing somebody,
you can't. Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure he probably wanted to maybe even come up and see the little boy or something when he was in the hospital, but at the same time, legal obligations, you know what I'm saying? It's like you're torn between this and that, you know what I'm saying? It's terrible.
Yeah, it is.
So it's just like so sad because you think like, oh, I'm going to take my child to go see their favorite
it's supposed to be a fun and exciting, you know, experience going to a concert. Mm-hmm. It's during a pandemic, so I'm sure they've probably been in the house, you know, all this time. So this is the one opportunity to get out and, you know, have fun, enjoy yourself, and for it to end in a tragedy.
Yeah. It's terrible.
It's bad. It's sad.
Yeah, exactly.
I just hope everything just works out. You know, I don't know. Because they say how many lawsuits do he have against him?
A ton.
Yeah.
A ton. And then he's also providing counseling services as well for those that was there. But I saw something online. I don't know if this was the New York Times or something, but they did like some type of a virtual thing, and they saw like all the pockets in which these people were stampeded on. They literally broke down all type of footage and stuff, and they were saying that like really, I couldn't even imagine this, y'all, to be in a crowd surrounded by people and you can't even move your body. The crowd was making you move. So if you wanted to move right and the crowd was moving left, then you have to go with the crowd because it was so many people there and packed. And somebody had said that they were really trying to get out, but it was so many people, they couldn't even get out. Can you imagine just being smushed like this, like front, back? You can't even move. I would have a panic attack.
I couldn't be there. I was like, I got to go.
But you can't get out. You can't. Somebody said that they wanted to leave after SZA had performed on the other stage, or the main stage, but they were pushed into the main stage, and they couldn't even get out.
Yeah.
Mina. Yeah.
This is my lipstick. Yeah, it's very unfortunate.
Yeah. Hey, Mina.
Hey,
Hey, y'all.
right.
Come on.
Y'all so silly.
Oh my Lord.
But this makes me think about, remember what was the club? And they got stampeded in that club.
Oh,
Like, I
yeah.
don't know all the details of the whole concert, and I do feel bad for everybody involved, all parties involved, because when you lose somebody in such a tragic way, it's like you want somebody to be responsible for
Right.
the loss of the family member of the loved one, because it's a hard situation to be in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me too. Yeah.
Marion said me too.
Yeah. And like that, I remember at that, for that particular club, the club was responsible because they didn't have the right, like, emergency exits. Like, there wasn't enough emergency exits, and so people got stampeded on and things like that. Like, I feel like in this case, I don't know. I don't know who is responsible, but it seems unfair to blame the artist that's on stage for that. It seemed like there should be some sort of crowd control stuff put in place, or a shutdown. But you're right. When it's so many people all in one place like that, it's like you said, you are not moving yourself.
You're not.
It's a whole like a body of, like water. It's like literally a wave, and you're like one drop in this wave of all these people. So I feel bad for everybody involved. I don't think it should be him alone, because he was like, I mean, because it was his festival. Is that what it was? Like, it's his festival or something, and that's why.
Yeah, he throw it every year.
It's his festival?
It's his thing. Yeah. I mean, Live Nation is partnered in. They're like a sponsor, but this is his event that he throws every year in Houston.
But it was other people that performed.
Yeah, yeah. It was like, it's his concert. They're like invited guests until
I didn't know that.
He's the main one. Like, this is his thing, his whole Astro World. You know how you have your opening acts?
Right.
Like, Silver was his opening act, but this is his thing.
He put it together.
Yes, he put this together.
Wow.
He does it every year.
So it's not necessarily like him personally, but maybe it's his organization. It's the, you know what I'm saying? Because I can see the organization being targeted, because if they do this, then they should be putting like crowd control, security, or there should be, but nobody can ever expect something so tragic to happen. You know what I mean? Like, you don't go to a concert expecting anything like this to like take place.
Right.
But I just feel bad for him taking all the blame, because but you get what I'm saying, as an artist. You know what I mean? Like, that seems hard to be on stage and that people are blaming you for the reactions of your fans. And I don't know who takes responsibility for the loss of lives. I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
I do, but I feel bad for everybody involved though. But that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah, and then it's like people saying, oh yeah, he was up there on the stage and he still kept going in the ambulance. Like, you can't see all that when you're up on the stage. You know, you may see like an ambulance in the crowd, but you don't know what's going on. And when they're chanting out, you just hear chanting. You have these, mics in your ears so you can hear your music. Like, you can't fully, and then they're not showing the footage where he was saying, like, hey, wait a minute, is he okay? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they wasn't showing that.
Yeah, they wasn't showing that. So I don't think that he purposely knew what was going on.
Yeah.
Because if he knew, like, I feel what was going on, then he would have stopped that concert. I do feel like that. Yeah. But at the same time, like I said, he has encouraged fans in the past to rush past, like, security and things like that. Like, you can't do that. You know what I'm saying? And that's how, because I'm wondering how those needles got in there.
Well, they were saying the guy, that wasn't true.
That they got pricked with the needle?
They were saying the guy with the hoodie or whatever, they were saying that wasn't true. That's what I heard on the radio.
I know the security guard did get pricked with the needle.
I don't know.
I don't know about The other people that they said was passing out, but one of the security guards, they did say he got pricked with the needle, though.
I don't know. I know on the radio they were saying that the guy with the hoodie with the needle, they were saying that was not true. That's what they said on the radio. I don't know. You know.
But it's like, even if they're rushing past security, you still bringing some other stuff in there too. Say if you didn't bring needle, you bringing drugs or whatever else. You know what I'm saying? Because nobody's able to check you.
Right.
I think that's a typical concert. I'm almost sure people bring drugs and all kinds of
outside, right?
Yeah, but they was rushing past. Like, if you do this every year, you should be like, you know what? Last year they did this. We're taking these measures so that security doesn't rush past.
Right.
We're going to have this and that in place. Like, they got smart people that they pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for security. You should have took some smarter measures to have people getting checked, getting in that event.
Right. Yeah. It's crazy.
It is. It's hard. It's complicated. It's not simple at all because you got, like I said, when people lose a loved one, like if I was to lose a loved one at such an event, I would be upset and want to hold somebody accountable for that loss as well because they should have came home. You know what I mean? Like it's more emotion than financial than anything. You know what I mean? Like people are trying to they're just trying to, I don't want to say, they're trying to do something, you know what I'm saying, to make it right. And like maybe that's the only thing people feel like that they can do. You know what I mean? Because again, if my cousin, you know what I'm saying, family member or whatever goes to this concert and then they don't come home, this is grief that I'm dealing with. I'm grieving. You know what I mean? And, I think too in 2021, people see other people really, really easily.
Yeah,
you know,
that's
you
true.
sue people over almost anything, right? And so you can sue somebody almost over anything. You take somebody to court for almost anything. And so, like, it seems like it's the right course of action to just sue you because my person has died. And I get that. But I'm like, it's an emotional thing. You know what I'm saying?
Right. It's like they're trying to fill a void. Like,
yeah.
Because I was here too. If this is my child, my husband, my cousins, my sisters, my mom, you know what I'm saying? I would be upset too and ready to fight myself. You get what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, it's like, is this going to bring anybody back? Is this going to bring me closure? No. You know what I mean? But I guess they feel like, you're trying to get something. You're trying to get something because you lost this person.
Yes.
Right.
I agree with you.
But Travis Scott, he offered to pay the funeral expenses.
Right.
But they declined it because they wanted to sue him.
Right.
So, I don't know. I feel like if he going to pay for all this, I would have took it. I would have instead of suing him. I mean, that's me. I agree
with you. And I feel like, too, if anything, I would have wanted to work with him closer to be like, to make sure that this does not happen again.
That could have been another approach instead of, I get what you, Yeah,
that's what I would
Everybody wants money. People want to get rich. Yeah, people want to get rich and they want to get rich fast. And they see him as a cash cow. And not to say that these families are intentionally doing this, but I'm sure people are like, oh, we could sue him.
Yeah, to
you know what I mean, to try to make things right. And I just don't know if that's the right course of action. But again, I'm not saying, you know what I mean? Like, I understand this is grief. You're losing a loved one. You expected them to come home and they didn't. You know what I mean? But they didn't. They did not come home. And that's a tough thing to have to deal with so abruptly. Like a 9-year-old just doesn't come home. Like, that's going to take a long time for any parent, any sibling to have to, like, reconcile in their brain. But I think it's the money. It's like, oh, we can come up from it. You know what I'm saying? But I agree. I think if him trying to take care of all the funeral expenses for all of the victims, I totally think that was a good gesture. Like, I definitely think so. But I mean, just like he lawyered up, I'm sure all these people finna be lawyered up. All these people probably. That's why they, like you said, they didn't take it, because then they could use that in court. You know what I'm saying? To be like, oh, well, you already took this amount of money. Why should we take? You know what I'm saying? Like, it becomes a legality, and it loses. This is an emotional grieving. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm grieving. And I just think it's hard. So
that's true, because I feel like too he's offering full refunds and also offering counseling. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So he's putting all the resources out there.
Yeah.
So. But people gonna do what they want.
Yeah, then they lift, like you said, other people in their ears, and of course, probably some of the attorneys, they want to come up.
You know that.
So they like, yeah, because if they win. The attorney get a cut of that money too.
Yes.
If even one of these cases, like if they don't combine all the victims together and do like one suit against the Travis Scott tour, if one of these families wins, then they're all gonna come after him. Yeah. Like they're all going, like, you know what I'm saying? Like if one of the families does a lawsuit against them individually and they win that lawsuit, then I think all the other families are just going to then follow suit.
Yeah.
And not all, but you get what I'm saying? Like, that's going to be the sign to be like, oh, he guilty? We're going to all take him.
Yeah, I feel
so. It's unfortunate.
I'm sure he ain't getting no sleep. Well, I'm sure the victim's not getting no sleep, but I don't know. The whole thing is bad.
Yeah.
It is. It's so tragic because it's tragic.
Yeah.
And it's like, if it's a hurricane, if it's a tornado, who do you sue people?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Sue a tornado for coming down your street.
Like the stuff gets torn down. You know what I mean? And again, I know this is a concert, but this is a tragic thing. Like, it's so sudden and it's tragic. And I don't know. I don't know who would be the person responsible. But if there is some negligence in there, then absolutely. You know what I'm saying? Like if the stages collapsed or something because of negligence, yes. If there was supposed to be security there, but they wasn't paying attention because they trying to party and drink, yes. If you get what I'm saying, like if there is definitely negligence there, then take responsibility for the negligence.
Right, I'm sure they're gonna be going through there with a fine tooth comb, looking for any little thing that can be negligent.
I did see a clip. Now that you say that, Nikki, I did see a clip of somebody, like people were trying to tell. I don't know if it was a cameraman, a sound man, but they were trying to tell him like, turn this off. Somebody's dead.
Yeah. They climbed up on that ladder. That boy and that girl. Yeah.
It was something. And they was like trying to talk to him like, somebody's dead. Cut this off. Somebody's dead. Cut this off. And
but see, he couldn't hear because all that noise. He just knows what to film. He probably couldn't even hear them though.
He probably couldn't. He probably did not know what they were saying because on top of that, he's at a Travis Scott concert. People probably climb up there and scream all the time. So when he saw them up there, he like, oh, some old people up here. Okay, get down, little girl.
Right.
And you know what I mean? Trying to continue doing whatever he's doing until eventually it's like, no, this, you got to stop. So I don't know. Maybe there needs to be some more signals in place. Maybe there needs to be some sort of, you know what I'm saying? All like abrupt emergency stop signal. Like if the flare goes up or somebody shoots the flare, then it's like, oh, we got to shut everything down. You know what I'm saying? Like there maybe needs to be an emergency stop symbol or sign or something so that they know like, oh, this is tragic. You know what I'm saying? Like they probably need to do something with the procedures or the protocols. But I don't know.
I don't know.
It's soon is the answer. So
well, thank you so much, Mina.
Guys, you guys always have really good topics that really are controversial. You know what I mean? And that's why I think people can get on here and just talk forever to y'all because like these are topics that like for real because there's no right answer. That's the thing. It's only the most appropriate. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's no right answer. We can only do the best that we can do, and that's gonna change depending on who you are, depending on where you've been. You know what I'm saying? So just keep up the good work there.
Yeah.
Right.
Thank you, Sheeda. Love you.
Love you guys. See y'all later.
Okay. Okay.
Ooh,
That's great. And you know what? Just to touch on that E2 thing, that was a club here in Chicago. Do you know I was supposed to go that night?
Really?
Yes. I was at home. I was getting ready, and my friends were down there already. And the line was so long, they called me and said, you know what? We're not going to go in because the line is too long and we don't want to wait. If I had went down there and we decided to go in, I might not even be here today.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That is crazy.
I remember that because I remember the pictures. Like, it was people like what is the word? Like at the door, like all together. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just toppled on top of each other, trying to get out. I remember like seeing those pictures.
That was crazy. I said, well, okay, because I really personally, I don't like clubs. I'm more of like I like sports bars and lounges. That's my thing.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm serious. I don't care for clubs.
Okay.
Let me get in a sports bar. We gonna talk some mess. We gonna have some drinks and some good food. Yep.
Said, dang, I lost a classmate. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was a tragic event too.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, I remember that. I just remember seeing like pictures in the newspaper.
Sad.
She said that's why I don't do big crowds. My friend was there. What?
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like a lot of big crowds either. I don't. I rather do something small.
I like sports bars and that. I want to give my seat. I want to have a seat. I don't want to stand up.
Okay.
I want to eat good and I want to drink good.
You're so silly.
I'm just saying. What you got, Sheeda?
So, there was a carjacking in Fort Heights. Actually, the day after Thanksgiving, on Saturday, November 27th. It was a DoorDash driver with her mother and her daughter in the car. The mother was 46, and the driver was 46 years old. And the daughter, I think, was 11, and then the driver's mother was in the car. She was 64 years old. And they were in, it said it was in Fort Heights. It said the DoorDash driver told the investigator they pulled up to the home that appeared to be abandoned in the 1100 block of Werline Avenue in Fort Heights. And the driver was attempting to deliver food to the address that was ordered via the DoorDash app. That's when she noticed the two men walking towards her car while her 64-year-old mother and 11-year-old daughter were inside. It said the driver then ran back towards the car, screaming for the men not to hurt them, according to the deputies. So, I mean, the people that do like DoorDash, Instacart, what else? Amazon, like, be careful. And they did say it was after 7 p.m. when they was doing this delivery. So I just say be careful. Be careful. Like, be aware of your surroundings, all that stuff. Like, because you never know, especially Fort Heights. Like, that's not the safest neighborhood. Fort Heights is a city out here in the south suburbs. So I just say be careful. And, the driver, she had two other people in the car with her doing the delivery, her 11-year-old and her daughter, her mother.
Yeah.
That was 64. But I'm just glad they were able to get away and that they were able to call the police and let them be aware of what happened. They did say that they're looking for a black 2018 Mazda 3 with the license plate CH62717. So if anyone has any information, you can call the Cook County Sheriff's Office. Because that's very unfortunate,
That's
stuff like that happening. So just always be aware of your surroundings. Yeah, and then they did the right thing by calling the, police and letting them be aware. And somehow they was able to get the car's license plate number, so that was good. Yeah, Mina said lock your doors. Yeah. And even sometimes maybe be on the phone with someone, like you got headphones or with some earphones, like have somebody in your ear. That way, if something does happen, you can be like, call 911. There's someone that's listening to what's going on.
So let me ask you a question, right? So the job that we used to work at, we were case managers. When I started out, I strictly went into the hospitals, but I know when you started out, you went into the home. Were you ever fearful when you went into these homes? Because I know when I first started, they had us doing busy work. And I was dropping off, like, smoke detectors and little,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I know that one of the houses that I went to, it was the wrong address. That person didn't live there. And I know I was nervous because I said, I thank God that I don't have to go inside of these houses. But this person could have easily told me, oh, yeah, they're here, come inside, and I could have dropped off that equipment. Did you ever feel like you were scared to go inside of those houses as a woman,
Not really. So I'm from the hood. You know what I'm saying?
Y'all, she needs to stop.
I'm from the Harvey Street. No, but I'm just joking. But no, seriously. Well, I know when I first started working there, they would tell you, like, don't wear any jewelry, earrings, nothing flashy to bring attention to you so that you would be robbed or anything. But I feel like I don't ever remember being, like, scared to go to the house when I would do home visits. It was more like when I got in there, it wasn't always the cleanest.
Yeah.
That was more of the issue. Like when I would get in there, some of those houses weren't, the cleanest. And a lot of times I would just be standing up doing my assessment because sometimes there wouldn't even be nowhere to sit. There would be no couch, no chairs, no nothing. It would just like be a TV, or a table. You know what I'm saying? That's it. And I would just have to just do my stuff standing up. But I can't say that I ever was like ever scared.
I was scared.
Because if it was a time that I was scared, I would be like, okay, I'm calling my supervisor and letting them know that I'm scared. I'm not going to this house.
See, that was my initial thought. Like, even though the man was nice and he was like, this is the wrong house.
Right.
But they could have been like, oh, come in.
Yeah.
And we'll go get her. Right. Anything. And then I know I had to drop something off too. And this man came, come on. Come inside. I was just like, I don't want to come inside. Like, what if he tackles me down? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes when I go to them houses, I go there with, like, feeling like having the sense of like authority, like I'm in charge. I'm here for this. Is so and so here? You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes you gotta make your presence known. Like don't mess with me. Like this, I'm here to do. You know what I'm saying? And then people get that vibe and be like, okay, yeah, she's serious. She's on the stage.
Take her with me next time. I gotta go.
Yeah, don't play.
I'll be like, come on, Sheeda.
Okay.
Be like, I'm ready.
But no, I haven't. Fortunately, I have not had that ever happen to where I really felt frightful. And if I ever did, I didn't go to that house. I would just be like, no, I'm not going. I would have to talk to supervisor, like something don't feel right or whatever.
Right.
And yeah. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, y'all, my last topic is in regard to Ahmad Aubery. So they finally got the 3 people that killed this young man.
Yeah.
And if y'all don't know who Ahmad Aubery is, then he was a gentleman, and he was out for a run. And he was basically chased down by 3 men, a father, a son, and their neighbor. They chased him in a pickup truck. They cornered him, and they shot him at point blank range with a shotgun. I think they were stating something about it was some robberies or something going on in the area, which he had nothing to do with. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So the 3 defendants, which is Travis McMichael, 35, his father, Gregory McMichael, 65, and their neighbor, William Bryan, 52. They were found guilty, and they have sentences that could lead them to life in prison.
I hope they get life.
Yes. And they're also going to be indicted on separate federal charges, which is hate crimes and attempted kidnapping. And those, they're expected to stand trial for that in February as well. And
so they get charged in February?
No. So they've already found guilty of killing him. So they're going to have additional charges.
Oh.
Yeah. So,
but when are they getting sentenced? I guess that's my question.
I don't know when their sentences is for these crimes that they just got found guilty.
Because what you say in February?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
February,
when
they're going to have February. They're going to have to go back to trial for additional charges for kidnapping and hate crimes. Yeah, they said that they weren't afraid to go to jail. Well, they're stupid, isn't it?
Well, yeah, don't be afraid then, but you still going.
You gonna assume the position.
Bend over and cough, okay?
Okay, exactly.
Sure. They ain't gotta be afraid, but that's where you're gonna be. That's your place of residency, okay?
But that neighbor, he was looking sick. He was looking, and you should feel, because how you gonna just chase down somebody like they an animal? And then this is the thing. He filmed it, the neighbor, on his cell phone.
That's what they
killing this man.
They thought it was okay. Like, oh, we do this type of stuff all the time. Killing another nigga. Okay, yes. I filmed it, and I have proof that I did it. Like,
and then when the video got leaked, then that's when the Georgia Bureau, I think, took over, because the family was still like trying to fight, like, this is not right what they did to my son. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, yeah, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, then they therefore took over the case after, I guess, the outcries from the public and everything. So, and then they saw that this man had did no wrongdoing and was chased down like a freaking animal. You know what I'm saying? Bubba gonna welcome them.
Right, okay.
That's terrible.
I'm waiting for the sentencing. I don't know if they did the sentencing or not.
Yeah.
To see how many years they're going to get.
Yeah, I hope it is life too. But whatever it is that they got found guilty and they're going back to trial again in February, like, it's going to be life. I'm sure. Like, they're never going to get out.
All right, I hope so. What's the other guy named? Kyle Rittenhouse. That man.
Don't even get me. I don't even know how he got out.
They say he had to unenroll from some college he was in because he was getting all these threats and stuff.
Yeah. His dream or something was to be some type of law enforcement. That's never going to happen.
Please don't.
Yeah, that's never going to happen.
For you, brother.
Yeah, he's going to kill again. Lisa said, Kyle Rittenhouse. Yeah. That's just like, to me, Trayvon Martin's killer. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how he's still walking around.
Yeah.
What Miriam said. Yeah, it's sad that it has to take so much of a crime for them to get charged. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they was just walking around free for months after they had killed somebody.
That's because they.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, people do complain a lot about these third world countries, but they don't play that mess over there.
No.
If you kill somebody, your freaking hand getting cut off, and ain't no questions asked. Okay. Yeah, it's so sad. Yeah. Well, we hope that you have enjoyed this live lunch break. I really enjoyed y'all.
Yeah, we went over an hour.
Yes. Y'all hung in here with us, interacted. I really appreciate y'all. We both do, you know.
Yeah.
So we just gonna keep this thing going every week, okay?
Yeah. Yeah. I appreciate the people that came on and shared, their opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad that, we have a platform where other people can really get on and like say and state their opinion about, whatever topics we're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. It's just voicing your opinion, whether you agree or disagree or disagree to disagree.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we will be back next week, either Wednesday or Thursday.
Yeah.
We're going to figure it out.
Yeah. If you missed some of this live, we will repost this live on Instagram and on our Facebook channel. On our Facebook page at Real Conversations with Sheeda and Nikki, and on our YouTube page, which is Real Conversations with Sheeda and Nikki podcast. So if you missed the beginning of this, or if you want to rewatch it,
share it.
Yeah,
That good stuff.
You can definitely watch it on either one of our platforms.
Yes. So thanks so much for watching, guys. Love y'all.
I see ya.
Bye.